Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler review series videos I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. This was not my intended review today, but we'll get into that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck, and whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for today, folks? What happens to be one of my Limp Bizkit shirts. I really like this one. It's got kind of like a retro anime style to it. Got almost like a little bit of a kind of like, older style Cowboy Bebop kind of feel, I think. If you're somehow unfamiliar with the band Limp Bizkit, basically, during like the late 90s, early 2000s, they were pretty much the biggest band in the world for a while. They were always up to some kind of shenanigans, usually involving their lead singer Fred Durst doing some kind of something. And, after a while, they started to kind of fade off as the new metal scene kind of faded out. They didn't really weather it as strongly as some of their contemporaries, but in a very cool sort of twist of things, in the last few years, there's been like a resurgence in the scene, and Limp Bizkit has really been able to kind of go with that and really just sort of ride it, and it's really cool. So I actually got to see them perform live not too long ago. At the time I'm doing this, it's actually where I got the shirt. I also got some videos of their performance, in case maybe you want to check those out. They're on the channel as well. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to kind of point you in the right direction as far as some of their music stuff goes, because I like what they do. But anyway, what am I trying for today, folks? What are we doing here? Like I said, this was not my intended review, folks, but it is what it is. It's boom! It's Chinese food. Specifically, this is some sesame chicken from a place that I have never been to called Hoy's Chinese Restaurant. It's in Bensenville, Illinois. I originally was going out today and went to a little tropical cafe place, and they had like Hawaiian style food and a little tiki bar and stuff, and that was going to be my review today. I got out there, I get inside, I get seated, and the bartender was like, hey, just to let you know, we have a Elvis impersonator coming in a few hours, so the kitchen is actually closed, we're just serving drinks. And I was like, did I seriously just get food blocked by a fucking Elvis impersonator in 2024? Alright, so I decided I got a drink, because I'm like that level of socially awkward. I didn't want to disappoint her. It would cost too much. But she was nice, and it was a fine drink, but it's just, I don't know how people can afford that shit. But anyway, so I ended up just driving in a direction until I found something to review. And that's where I am with this. What with this being a local spot, this is going to end up on my Eating Out Illinois playlist, which is a playlist for just local spots. And I figured since I'd never been to this place before, I'd start off with Sesame Chicken, because that's like my go-to Chinese food order. So, and I've reviewed a number of Sesame Chickens from various places around me. So let's get a thing for the thing. It looks like that, and I did upgrade to some beef fried rice. It looks like that, and kind of ha 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 ha. And let's give it a go. Hopefully it's delicious, because this has been a weird day. I will say the egg roll I had, because it came with an egg roll, that was a really good egg roll, so. Ooh. Nice and crispy. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Okay. All right, we're starting out pretty strong here. I have to say, might be the best crunch I've had from any sesame chicken that I've tried in my reviews. That's really nice. Like, it's just a nice textural thing. Because sometimes sesame chicken, it's obviously got a heavy sauce on it. it can kind of go a little bit mushy, you know. But that's not the case here. It's still very crispy, very nice. The flavor on it's good. It's not overly heavy. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm going to say kind of where I'm at right now with it. There's things I like. There's things I'm a little bit here or there on. Texture, I think, is perfectly on point. It seems to be cooked really well. One thing I am kind of a little bit disappointed in is the level of flavor. Like, and mind you, it's still flavorful. It's not, lacking per se. But as much as I'm glad they didn't go too heavy with it, I kind of feel like they might have pulled back a little bit too much as far as that flavor is concerned. Because, sometimes if you go out and you get it, it's just like way too much, just way too globbed on there. It completely overrides the taste of chicken. It's just, with this, I mean, it's not like you're not getting sauce, clearly, but it's more kind of fried on there, which, instead of having like the more heavy aspect to it, which is kind of nice, but you lose a little bit of the zing, Like, it's still tasty. It still has that kind of mix of sort of sweet and savory aspects to it, but for me, it's just lacking a little bit of that punch. Not a lot, but yeah, it's kind of interesting because in certain ways, if I'm sort of like placing this alongside some of the other ones that I've had, in certain ways it excels. In certain ways, it's just a little underwhelming. But the overall of it is still good, still tasty. I'm enjoying myself. But two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Um, no and kinda. So here's the thing. For me personally, I like it overall. I love the texture. I love the texture. I love the way it's prepared. I think that element of it is really good. Um, but I have to admit, and this is just a personal thing on my end, I do prefer it just a little bit sloppier, again, just a little bit more zing to the sauce. Like, again, it's perfectly prepared. Like, there's nothing bad about it. The chicken tastes good. I love the texture on it. Love the texture. But yeah, I'm just, every time I go over there and I eat a piece, I'm waiting for that, like that joyous zing that I get from Sesame Chicken that makes it, a dish that I really love. And I almost get there, and then it just doesn't quite give me that, that oomph. And for me personally, there's just other spots locally that hit a little bit closer to what my personal preference is. So for me, if I wanted some sesame chicken, although this isn't bad sesame chicken, I have other places where I just, the preference is there, Um, but I will say this, I mean, and I do have another item to review off their menu after this, so, we'll kind of get a greater frame of reference. But I will say, just for being what it is, like, there's nothing I dislike about it. It's just, again, not quite as oomphy as I would like. But for that same reason, if I'm recommending it, kinda. I do think that there's better examples of sesame chicken out there that, again, work better for me. But to that end, I completely acknowledge the fact that not everybody has the same taste that I do. And I'm sure that there are people out there who probably prefer, that less zingy kind of style to it. And in that regard, there's absolutely that room to go for it. You know what? Let's actually get a little bit of the rice in real quick, just to get a little sampling of that as well. Looks like good rice. It's hard to do with chopsticks. Rice is really good. Rice is really good. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I like the rice more than I like the chicken. I had some really nicely cooked rice. The beef is really nice and tender. Really nice and tender. Like, one thing I will say, flat out, for everything I've had here, I know I'm kind of extending the review, but, deal with it. It all is really cooked well. Again, I think it's just a little bit different with the way of the flavoring for a chicken. But their rice is on fucking point, man. That is some very, very good rice. So, again, this is more a review of the Sesame Chicken, but out of the three things I've had so far, the egg roll, which I didn't review, the rice, and the chicken, everything has been prepared really well, and it's all been tasty, even if, again, the chicken isn't quite what I would go for. But I will say, for that reason, if I'm recommending it, like, I am still going to recommend it because I don't know that this would be my personal favorite interpretation of their chicken, or of Sesame Chicken. But in terms of, like, just the food quality and the way it's prepared, they definitely know what they're doing. So it's a little bit of a here or there on this one. I can't give it like a full-on, swinging endorsement the way I might like, but I would definitely still say that they definitely have some good food. And hopefully the next dish will kind of work a little bit better for me. But anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go with your episodes. It's way too hot in the fucking car right now. Tastic rest of your life. Oh, I hate the summer. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully, do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, this is a perfect example of something that, I do try to, I don't bring it up as much as I maybe should, but I do like to emphasize when I can. This is an example of, like, this is good food. It is, again, it's really well prepared. It's just, a difference in opinions on kind of, just certain things about it. And so I do want to kind of emphasize with my reviews, unless something is really just genuinely terrible, there's no way for me to redeem it. I always try to be very positive in my reviews. And it's just one of those things where, sometimes things don't quite coalesce, but obviously don't take my word or anyone's word, especially not my word. Don't take, their opinion or their words as being law for, how to approach things. Just use it to, kind of not guide your actions, but to give you, resources. Anyway,